Guys, what's up? It's windy. That's Bodie. We ditched all those losers. We're gonna now just shoot elk targets, and we're gonna have some fun, bring you along, and we'll do a podcast as well. So welcome to This is Bodie Turner Day, and it's windy. Let's go.
With my dad calling for me to go shoot a bull up there.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well.
So I got a pretty good take this one.
Bodie's in the 11.
So I've had
It's long range. Guys, what's up? Welcome to the ELKSHAPE podcast. We are sitting down with Bodie Turner from Eatonville, Washington. Is that correct? Nailed it. Welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Thanks for shooting bows with me yesterday.
It's a good time.
It was a good time. You were supposed to hang out with us all weekend, but like this thing called school got in the way. You had a final you had to take. What did you take a final in?
American cultures.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was interesting.
Very exciting. American cultures. But you got here late Friday.
Yep.
Did you get a chance to go sight in?
Yeah, I shot a couple.
Obviously. So when you land here, it's like nothing. Like it's just like any other tournament. You got to go check your marks. So take us through that process.
Yeah, so I knew that I was going to be shooting high for Montana, just sight tape wise. I knew my pin gap should be pretty much the same, so I wasn't overly worried about that. So shot in my 40. Well, first I took 3/4 of crank out of my poundage to try and level it back out from altitudes.
Both bolts?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I did it on both bolts. Shot. I was shooting a touch low, so I put a 1/4 back in it, and then I sighted everything back in from shot a 60 and shot a 40, and then I shot. And I shot at 90 after that, after I moved my pointer and everything, got everything lined back out, and then shot out to 114 to make sure everything was still good.
Okay, so when you roll up to the sighting course at Big Sky Tack, that place is usually crowded. Did you have eyeballs on you?
There was like one person on the range.
Oh, you lucky dog.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to kind of take your time.
No, yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Was it windy?
It picked up a lot.
Yeah. All right, and then so your pin gap's good. It's just the whole bolt trick. I've heard you say that on video before, so that's a good way to go. I think I'd prefer doing that versus doing what I do. It's just printing out sight tapes.
Having to find a bunch of sight tapes. I mean, it's a good way to do it, but just being able to, once you start to learn it pretty well, you know that I just have to turn out for where you are. Like I know if I go from Washington to here, it's pretty much always around half a turn to get everything lined back out.
Okay. So then you got your marks in. That was it. And then we had some fun. If you guys haven't seen that little that YouTube video, but we did like a Sandlot reenactment.
Yep.
I enjoyed that. That was fun.
That was a good time.
That turned out good. And we put it on Instagram as well. It's on his page, my page, so check it out. It's good. If you haven't seen the Sandlot, I don't know. Maybe you want to check that. It's a classic. But no, then we went up to, we did the Sitka course.
Yep.
And it was all of us, 5 of us, including your dad.
Yep.
Which he's not really that helpful when he shoots a bow without a sight. And we're shooting between 70 and 116 yards.
A long ways is not the easiest thing to do.
But 70 and under.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense how he can use, I don't know. Your dad's a G, dude. But, we went up there and shot the whole deal. You guys have to go watch that video. So basically the way we did it is our 5 arrows, whatever arrow was our best against his 1 arrow. And we made him shoot first every time. And then if Bodie would get like an 11 and we'd get a 10, he would get a point for that target. So we didn't keep track of like actual points. It was just each target's worth a point.
Yep.
And you were at one point up 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then at one point towards the end, we were like down by 2. And then I think it was the second to last target, you sealed the deal, and we knew we couldn't catch you. And that's how she rode.
Yeah. It was a super fun course.
Oh, man. What was your favorite shot on that Sitka course?
Probably some of the like 80-yard deer. It's just a good middle range. Some of the open ones where you just could aim at it, didn't have to worry about hitting any trees.
Yeah.
It was a fun target.
I do like those open shots. Which ones do you not? Which was your least favorite?
Probably ones I can't see. Some short.
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones are a little rough when you're just kind of aiming at the hillside and have an outline on the back.
I hate dark targets
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
Especially that, what's that? Is it a calico bear?
Koala bear.
Oh, koala bear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Koala bear. It's like literally.
It's tiny. It's about like around that tall.
Yep. And they
About
had it
that
at,
wide.
do you remember the distance? It was 90 something.
92.
92.
But
In the shade.
yeah.
Downhill with a slope.
Yep.
So you're not only going to have to bubble or cam into this
With some wind.
with wind. I mean, my pin was dancing all around this black blob. And I was just like, I'm just going to try to make the cleanest break and stare at what I'm trying to hit.
Yeah.
And I missed the target. And that arrow, that's the thing about X10s, is it's not the most durable arrow. It's
No.
got the best tolerances.
Yeah. It's definitely the most accurate.
But man, if you miss, she's gone.
Yeah.
So there's some X10s around there. They're not Bodie's because he shoots the same arrow. Those are probably mine. If you find
Yeah.
a few shattered ones, those are mine. You only missed one target.
Yeah. I stuck one in the tree on that bear
Yeah.
because I
Found that shot.
couldn't get a range on it. Everybody else was ranging at 91 to 92. And
Well, what did you shoot it for?
shot it for 94.5 on the first one.
Ooh, yeah, that's too hot.
And I hit exactly where I was aiming on the tree right behind it.
Yep.
Like exactly. So then I put it for 92 and hit it the second time.
What's funny is we made you shoot first, and we were down, and we're like, oh my gosh, all we have to do,
Yeah.
all we have to do
Yep.
is hit it anywhere, and we'll win the point on this target. And we went through, and I actually was like, okay, I want to go last, because if I was literally going to be like, if one of our guys just hits the target, I'm not even going to shoot at it.
Yep.
I didn't want to shoot at it. Every guy missed, including myself, and then Josh came
Smoked
up-
it.
Josh, I wouldn't say smoked
He
it.
shot almost an 8 on it.
Did he?
Yeah.
He clutched up,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yes, we finally like that was I was impressed with that." You know, Josh, I've shot Tack with him. He's literally he's good. He has some luck going, but he kind of brags like, "Hey, I've never lost an arrow at Tack, and I've done 5 tacks or something like
It
that."
definitely changed yesterday.
It did.
Yeah.
I don't think he had any ammunition after. I think he couldn't shoot.
Second to last target, I think
Yeah,
it was.
at target 24, Josh was out of bullets. That's how hard that Sitka course was this year.
It was not easy at all.
Oh man, that's probably the hardest course I've had to do there. Very humbling. We did the prime course the day before. It's definitely not easy.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anything. That Sitka course was legit. Then we went and did the Rocky.
Yep.
Did you like that course?
Yeah, that was a fun course.
Yeah.
I wish it wasn't 45th mile an hour winds at times, but it was a good time.
We had like a microburst show up.
It was bad.
Oh, but I think it's good to
It's good to practice in. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be taking any shots in 50 mile an hour winds.
probably not. But it was really interesting for me to watch you work the mountain, and Bodie's pretty amazing at like you've just exposed yourself to so many different scenarios.
Yeah.
With lighting, with wind, and with like humidity, to where like you're able to give yourself the best opportunity based on all this data that I don't even pay attention to. That's kind of what I picked up. So take us through it. Like, let's talk about those first couple shots: elevation, wind, daylight, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so some of the first ones were the small elk targets at like 60 yards down through a tunnel.
Yep.
Pretty steep, probably around 15 to 20 degrees.
Yep.
I would lean on the 20 side. And you're still shooting on hard downhill with wind. Wind was mainly coming up at you, so it didn't affect arrows too much. Just made it hard to aim at it. So like on one of the steep downhills with the hillside coming in, I would draw back with my bow, with my top cam into the hill, and then level it out as I settled onto the target, and then would just run a shot from there.
Yep.
And then I would just run my cut off whatever my rangefinder would say, because I just have all my, I've shot in my data on my rangefinder.
What is that app that you archery nerds use out in the field, and you're like have your data points and all that? What's that called?
Probably Archer's Advantage. I haven't used them.
You don't use them?
No,
Like
I
I
don't.
see Paige Pierce with on her phone.
Yeah, I hate having.
What is all that stuff?
It's a good way to do it, to get marks and cuts and stuff, but I hate having to rely on my phone
Yeah, I
to be able
noticed
to
that
shoot a tournament.
you rely on all this. You've shot bows in so many
Yeah.
scenarios
Yeah.
that you have like a backlog of data
Mm-hmm.
that you. That's why I was like literally leaning into every shot you took and asking you like, what
Yeah.
were you thinking? Why did you do this? It was incredible. When did you start noticing that information was sticking in your brain and you didn't need to rely on a piece of technology?
Just, I mean, the more I did it, it gets a lot easier when you can look back at shots you have taken before. Like, okay, I've shot it this degree down, and I've cut this much before on this side hill.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. Like, there's a shoot typically where we have our Washington State safari shoot, and it's a almost 40-degree downhill shot at 40 yards. I typically cut 7 yards on it at 40 yards, which is pretty significant.
Yeah, at 40.
I mean, everybody's setups can be a little bit different, so I know that I have to cut however much at this shot.
Mm-hmm.
And if I ever have to take another shot like that at a different area, similar yardages, I'll know how I have to cut. And if I can remember that, then I can know, okay, I did it here. It's going to be super close to here, so if I put it here, I'll get it very close.
Mm.
And just being able to take that many shots like that and having so many that I have taken in different scenarios, I can always have a pretty good memory, so I can always look back on ones that I've shot before
Mm-hmm.
and then just run it off what I have done.
That makes sense. The bedded. Do you remember that bedded elk that we were with two guys? I can't remember their names.
Yep.
And it was a bedded elk, and it was like we backed up past the cone. It was like 80-ish.
Yeah.
Do you remember that shot?
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I looked at it was like, oh, that elk is bedded, but it looks like the slope is going
Mm-hmm.
almost like, I don't know what degree that is, but it was like, okay, there's that. Plus, we're kind of in a swell.
Yeah.
There is some wind down there, but
Mhm.
not where we're shooting. And that's where I shot from level ground. That shot, tell me, like, what were you thinking there? Because you shot it twice. The first shot was...
It was just low.
It was low, and the reason I asked this on this specific target is because the day before, I took the same shot-ish, and I was low.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe it was the humidity because we had a rain moving in on us.
Yeah.
But you hit low, and then you readjusted, and you did something, and then you hit great. So a shot like that, what is the deal on that? Because we have video footage of it, so we can kind of show people what we're talking to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure on it. I broke a great shot on both of them. They both broke in the middle, and that first one just went low. I mean, sometimes in certain areas, you can't really say what it was. You just know that it did happen.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you know how much to adjust for it, you can typically make a good second shot. It'd be nice just to make a good first one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, on that one, I'm still not 100% sure on it. I just shot a couple inches low on it.
So tell everybody why are you so sold on the X10s, the Parallel Pros?
Just their tolerances are unmatched to anybody. I've shot a lot of different arrows and tested pretty much everything. And just across the board, I can always just grab, like for the hunting for the Parallel Pros, I can just grab those, and I always do a lot of arrow testing, but I can always get those to shoot exactly how I want to in a very quick fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I can't get these to shoot at all. I can always like,
Makes sense.
all right, 100 grain didn't shoot the best, throw 125 in it. All right, now it shoots great.
Yeah, so when you say shoots great, you're not particularly talking necessarily like arrow flight. You're looking for groups.
Yeah.
Grouping is everything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How many arrows will you shoot for a group?
I mean, it really just depends how many arrows I have, but I like to shoot around a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 6 to a dozen at minimum, and then just kind of go from there. And then I'll shoot, and I don't necessarily group tune with a hunting bow as much. On target bow, I'll do a lot of group tuning, which is moving my rest. So it's like, say, I'll shoot a good group, but I'll have a random low. I might move my rest up like a quarter turn, and then that'll, a lot of the time, bring that last arrow up into the group.
Really? Mm-hmm. You'll make an adjustment off one arrow, like I would call that a flyer, and I'd be like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I tune my bows out to where if I miss, it has to be me, and yeah,
that's powerful what you just said there. If I miss, it's me. It's not my equipment.
Yeah. So I mean, so many people will set up their bows and they're like, all right, shoots bow hole, we're good. Mm-hmm. Shoots bear shaft, we're good. I mean, only time I've ever bear shafted was just to fletch them so I'd shoot them bear shaft, and then I would just turn the knock on every one until they all grouped in the middle at like 40, and then I'll fletch them that way they're all the same.
That takes a lot of time.
Not really.
Really?
No, 10, 15 minutes maybe for a dozen or more.
So because I've seen you shoot. You're a robot, so for someone like me, that would take a lot longer.
It could,
and I think a lot of people that are into bear shaft tuning. Also, a lot of them will do it just through paper.
Yeah.
And they're looking to create this, like, a hole that matches all the other. And so they're just taking the knock and turning it, like a quarter, an eighth?
Yeah.
Depends on how nerdy you want to get. And a lot of guys are like, knock tuning is the most important thing. And I'm always scratching my head because I've seen a lot of guys shoot their bows that are not pros at camps, at tacks, whatever. And I'm thinking, man, I nothing but love. I don't mean this in the wrong way, but I don't know if you're good enough to knock tune.
Yeah.
Don't you think knock tuning requires a certain level of repeatability?
I mean, to a certain extent, but I mean, if somebody can shoot a group, I mean, it doesn't have to be super tight, but if they can shoot a group and you always have one arrow over here and you know it's the same arrow, you can turn that knock just to see if it can help. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think knock tuning is insanely important, but I don't think bear shaft tuning is important.
So explain to the people listening the difference.
So knock tuning you can do with a fletched arrow. Like that's what I'll do. I'll, at least with an Easton and the X10 line, because of how consistent they are and how tight their tolerances are, I'll just fletch them all with, let's say, the Easton part of the label up, and then I'll go outside, I'll shoot them all in a group, and then if I might have one maybe that I'll have to turn to the next vein. That's not that common. Mm-hmm. I mean,
and then would you make a mark, a silver Sharpie mark, or anything? You just it stays, it's good.
Yeah, I'll just.
What distance, Bodie?
I would say 40 to 60 is what I like to do. I like to just sit at 60 to 50 meters, which is 55 yards, and I'll just shoot at a small dot around that, and I'll just sit there and just shoot groups at it, and then just change my equipment around it to then where it can group how I would like it.
That makes sense to me. Now tell everybody what bear shaft.
Bear shaft tuning is you're just shooting the arrow without veins on it, and then it depends. You can shoot it at a target and then do it like that, and then shoot your veined arrow and then shoot your bear shaft arrow and then just move your rest until the two come together. Or you can do it through paper, but there's been a lot of times where a lot of testing that's been done where somebody will shoot bear shafts and then they'll get, my bear shafts shooting a bolt hole through paper. And then they'll go into it and then they'll fletch them and then they don't shoot through paper again. But then sometimes when you do shoot through paper, it's like, it's not bolt hole anymore because you changed a lot of stuff on the arrow from putting veins on it. It can get steered now. It can change stiffnesses. It can do a bunch of stuff to it. And if you don't, I mean, you're not going to be competing with it as a bear shaft, so I don't see why you wouldn't tune with it how you're going to be competing with it or hunting with it, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So you might as well just shoot it how it's going to actually be.
That makes sense. You're one more year of high school?
Yep, one more.
So that's probably why you're not at the ASA circuit?
Mainly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as I have a bunch more time, it's definitely the circuit that I want to pick up.
That's what you got your eyes on?
Yeah, because...
Known?
Yeah, it'll be known.
Yep.
I do the NFA circuit right now just because I'm the best at that one. I know it the best. But as soon as I have time, I definitely want to get into the ASA circuit.
Do you have any of those targets?
No, but I'm going to have to get some.
Yeah, so like you target archers probably have to have them all.
It definitely helps.
Or somewhere to shoot all of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier for all the guys out in the Midwest and southern area of the United States because that's the shoots that they have.
Why don't they do a Northwest ASA or a West ASA?
I have no idea. I mean, I've heard it get brought up.
Oh, you have?
Yeah,
okay.
But nobody ever people don't like to go shoot on challenging courses.
Yeah, I want to take over as the Northwest ASA president, and we're
Do
not
it.
shooting. You're not shooting 30 to 50 yard.
Yeah,
Same
but
courses,
even if
you're
you
doing-
were,
it's
just
gonna be a
make
tack.
it. Yeah, just make it steep, downhill, uphill.
Yeah, just add a little twist to it.
Yeah, I
That'd
mean,
be cool.
I've went and shot field shoots that were incredibly flat. Then they'll have one like 15-degree shot, and I was shooting in the young adult division at that time, and I knew everybody I was shooting with. And they're like, "Bodie, how much would you cut on this?" I'm like, "I don't know, what yard? It's 15 yards. Like, you don't have to really do. You could shoot it straight up and still probably shoot top of the X.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about things like that at that distance. But people just, when they don't do it, they really do not know how to do it.
That makes sense.
But when you grow up around it so much like I have, I mean, our local tournaments are way harder than Reading.
Yeah.
And then
So,
everybody shows up to Reading like, man, this course is really tough.
well, but
No.
by the time Reading gets around, like, are you ready for Reading, or you like? Because it's so weird to me. Like, you hit that Lancaster. I know you've probably been doing Winter League leading up to that, getting
Yep.
ready. But you also are a hunter, like a
Yeah.
diehard hunter. So it's like you got to, like, when do you pick up the target bow?
I mean, I always have a target bow set up because it's always just something to do. So I typically get bored of outdoor around like August time. So around August, I'm like, all right, I'm going to set up an indoor bow.
Yep.
Which is probably way too early than I should.
Whatever.
Because I'm not going to end up shooting that same setup later
Yeah.
anyways. But I'll start to set up a bow around then. And then I'll have hunting season mixed in, so I won't shoot very much throughout there. I'll shoot some when I have some free time.
Yeah.
But my main thing is just hunting at that time. But then as soon as I have free times and hunting, I'll have indoor tournaments. Some local ones start around November, so I have to make sure I have a good setup around then.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, a setup doesn't mean that I've been, like, one that I might compete with doesn't mean that I've had it shooting for a month or two.
Right.
Like, last year when I won Reading, I set up that bow a day and a half, 2 days before we left for Reading.
Really?
Yeah, I shot our state safari. I shot a really good score on a way harder course. I just didn't love how the bow shot.
Yeah.
I shot really well, and my score reflected that. But I'm looking just to hit the middle of every dot and just trust it 100%.
I like that. You do trust your equipment.
A lot.
I noticed that up on Tack. People are talking about changing things, and you're like, no way. I trust my equipment.
Yeah, but I also have the ability to where if I need to fix something, I can just fix it in a heartbeat.
So when you won Lancaster last year, how much time had you been behind that bow?
A day.
That's ridiculous. to me.
Yeah, I brought 2 bows to Lancaster.
And then do you bring 2 different arrow setups?
Not normally.
What are you using? What'd you use in Lancaster?
Last year I used the 2712 aluminums.
Yeah.
So I had brought super drives for the bow that I competed with.
Yep.
And then I brought aluminums because I got aluminums the day before we left.
Okay.
So I had 2 setups shooting about the same, but I didn't know which one I wanted to bring. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to bring both of them.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So I brought both of them. Then on the flight to Lancaster, I'm like, man, I should try the arrows for the other bow through my Invicta.
yeah.
Just see what they did.
Yeah.
Because we're going to go shoot at Lancaster that night.
Yeah.
And I got there and shot one of the cleanest 660s I've ever shot. I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to run that setup. Then I ended up shooting a 660 and winning with it.
Wow.
I mean, I found it, I think, a day before I shot for qualification. I mean, a lot goes into setups, but it doesn't mean that I've had that setup running for a long time.
No, it sounds like it's a couple instances where it's just been a couple days before.
Yeah, but then other times I've had it shooting for like 2 months.
Yeah, that's.
But then there's the instance that I've set it up a day before.
And that's
I
happened
actually
more
competed.
than once.
Oh, yeah.
Explain to people with 660 that don't know what that means. And
So-
how ridiculous. Only a couple people have ever done that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have your Vegas 3-spot target that you would shoot, and then at Lancaster, the X will count for an 11. And so the 11 or the X ring is the size of a penny.
Yep.
So in competition, I hit that 60 out of 60 times. and that's how you would shoot
Do they make you change paper?
at the half.
Okay, so
Yeah.
is that help for you? Just like hit out that center and then
Not really.
Okay, cool.
Because it's really nice when you just have a black hole that you can aim at.
You're right.
And once you have a hole, your arrow can actually like hit the edge of it,
Yep.
and it'll just suck into the hole.
Yep.
So that can be really nice. Then when you have to put a new target up, you're like, man, I hope I didn't put it over somebody else's. That's
Yeah.
where I'm gonna like shoot a half decent shot, and it's gonna get pulled over there.
Something they introduced this year at Lancaster was that white dot,
The 12 ring.
the 12 ring, and it
Yeah.
was nowhere near the middle. It was actually down the bottom.
Yeah, it would cut the 8-7 line in half.
So it's like if you missed it, you were going to get an 8 or a 7.
Yeah. Well, unless you missed it really big, you might catch a 9 or a 7 or a 6.
But you guys aren't going to do that. You guys.
Well, there's some people that shoot 9s on them somehow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So if people didn't watch it, I encourage you to. I watched it live, and the announcers, they did such a good job.
They
'cause
did a really good
were
job.
like,
They were fired up.
they were fired up because it was like, oh, the archery is getting cool right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is a cool curve. Like, so explain to people when they introduced it and kind of like what the implications were for where you were at in the tournament.
Yeah, so the 12 ring only applies to the finals. So they don't have it in the eliminations or the qualification. They only have it in the finals. So it's
And how many guys made it to the finals?
8 qualify for the finals. So
they
you
had-
start at
And they start with like you could shoot your way to the last match. So whoever, what place were you in going to the finals?
I think it was 3rd or 4th.
I want to say you were 4th.
Yeah,
Because,
I think 4th.
because you still had to go
Yeah, I'd shoot through a couple people.
shoot through people, and I don't know, fatigue. You'd have to tell us if fatigue is that all. And-
Not really.
okay,
Um,
but
and
basically number 8 goes against number 7,
yeah,
and then if whoever wins, they go to
they
6.
go to 6.
And so
then-
whoever qualified the best in the best position, I think it might be a disadvantage, honestly, to be in first and just sitting there cold, waiting.
Well, so you're not cold because they have a practice range behind the curtains that you walk out.
Oh.
So you get to there's 4 targets up and you just get to shoot like the whole time. So I mean, I'll shoot
I
for
did
like
not know that.
yeah, so I'll shoot for like 2 hours before and just sit there and just pound the 12 ring.
Gotcha.
And so you'll have like 10 minutes maybe
Yeah.
that you won't actually be shooting. So it's not really too bad.
Not too bad. I just figured that first shot's got to be nerve wracking if you're going against some guy who just is working his way up.
Yeah.
But you basically did that to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it for sure can be because sometimes your first one doesn't hit the middle.
So I can't remember the names. I'm not that familiar with your sport on your side, but there was somebody who was like, "Oh, I'm just going to shoot 12s on Bodie and put the
Yeah.
pressure on him." Who was that?
So that was Stefan Hansen.
Yeah, dude was a G, like
Yeah.
mad respect. And did you have any anticipation that was going to happen?
No, because the 12 ring used to just be something for like tiebreakers.
Yeah.
And then he brought it up to where you just have to shoot them.
And how did he do that? He just went for it first
Yeah.
and hit it.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, okay, he's got 12. The best I can get is 11
Yeah.
with an X. And you guys are just shooting around.
Mm-hmm.
And so he hit the 12, and then did you go, okay, I'm going to hit I think you hit the X, and then you're like, I'm going to hit the 12 on the second one?
Yeah, on the second end.
Why?
Well, I don't know. I should have shot on the first one, but I didn't.
Okay.
And then
So you'll be ready next year if someone starts doing that?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. I would think the third end or the third arrow of the 3 is the hardest. Is that true?
It can be, yeah.
Yeah. I've only shot one round to Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that my third arrow was always the one I had the most pen float,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Just a nervous one.
yeah, okay. Well, that's a cool tournament, and then you kind of have Lancaster and Las Vegas, and you said Las Vegas is moving locations.
Yeah.
Where were they at?
They were at the South Point.
And now they're moving to,
The convention center, I think.
oh, dang.
Yeah.
Good or bad? Indifferent?
I really like the South Point, but it outgrew the South Point.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
And what's your personal favorite?
Tournament?
Yep. Out
really-
of all of them.
I really like field.
You like field?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I field a lot.
Okay. Well, it showed yesterday
Yeah.
on the mountain. Your G up there. Did I see you with a Matthews yesterday?
Yep.
What boat are you shooting?
The lift right now, and then titles for competitions.
Yeah, that's news to me. Were you shooting the 30? You shot 29.
29, yeah.
That's interesting that you didn't go up to the 33.
I need a little bit of speed.
Okay. So you get more speed out of the 29 based on your draw length at 27.5. Same here. So
Yeah.
I'll see. Will you use 80 or 70, 75? What's your pound?
75.
75? Did you try 80s?
No, there's no way I'm doing 80s yet.
Dude, I think 80s something wouldn't take long, but
No, but I don't think I need it really.
you don't. You absolutely do not. And your total arrow weight for
Like 435, 440.
oh, that's money. That's money. Yeah, I watched you shoot that lift 29 and a half on an antelope at 150 yards with a 15 plus 20 degrees
Oh yeah, like
20 with a ridiculous amount of thermal updraft
and on a really hard side hill.
and an amazing side hill. And I think he put like 5 for 5 arrows in there at 150 yards. A lot of guys are like, how is he getting that distance? Is it? I don't know. I'm getting up about 133 is the furthest I can shoot. But you're using your bottom pin.
Mm-hmm.
You're pulling 75.
Yep.
Draw length 27 and a half, and your total airway is 435.
5.
Dive. Your peep's not low.
No.
That's what you can get.
Yeah.
You should expect to get that if those things are
To a certain extent, yeah.
okay. Cool. The shot of the day for you, in my opinion, yesterday was not the one, but the group of arrows you shot. That antelope target's tiny,
Yeah.
and you put together quite the group on that. Any other shots you were super stoked on yesterday?
Probably that little mini moose.
Oh, I don't like you on anything mini. I
Yeah.
was saying that I'm like, guys, I've watched Bodie shoot all day. If it's a mini elk or a mini moose, he does not miss.
Yeah.
You that is your target. Do you have those at your house?
I have a mini elk.
You do. I can tell. I have a mini moose at my house. Had an elk. Wife drove over it accidentally.
Nice.
R.I.P. Okay, what else I was going to ask you? Oh, I know. It's the title 36 and you have a 38.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you prefer? Like if I said, all right, Bodie, you're going to ASA, which one would you take?
Probably the 36 right now. I'm liking that one.
Okay.
But I've shot them both for competition.
What about when did you, I thought you were shooting a PSE or a Hoyt or something. Like, when did you get your hands on the title?
Like end of February.
End of February? Is it worth all the hype, or what are you thinking?
I think it's one of the best bows out right now for sure.
Okay. The nice thing about you is you're not really like signing contracts.
No, I can shoot whatever.
You can do whatever gives you. I think that's awesome, honestly, because like, I don't know how to say this nicely. It's really cool to see you shoot whatever you want that gives you the best opportunity to win.
For sure.
How'd you like to be locked into some bow manufacturer who maybe just had an off year or had a great year, but it doesn't vibe with you, and that's what you're stuck shooting?
That wouldn't be good.
Yeah. So that's cool. That I have a title. I got it. I'm like afraid to shoot that bow very often because it gives me like it tells me that I'm better at archery than I am. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I am like, damn, this bow is a shooter. Have you shot the 33 lift?
Not yet.
Okay. I think it's a little bit easier to shoot better groups with.
Probably.
I just don't want to pack it around while elk hunting.
Yeah.
So you probably might want to get your hands on one of those. So then what's next for you right now? Like we're coming up on summer. Do you have any actual more touring competitions?
End of August. Field Nationals.
Where's that at?
South Dakota, Yankton. Near Yankton, South Dakota.
You've done it before?
Yeah.
Did you win it before?
I've won it, yeah.
That's what I thought. Is it a point system going into it, or is it like start from scratch?
Well, it's just from shooting. You get points.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was any carryover from the season. So everyone's straight up on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. How many targets?
Ooh. 50. Ooh, how many is it? I'm blanking on that. I've shot so many field rounds. So you got 28. So you got 56, and then 28.
Is this over 3 days?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
over 3 days.
Do they pair you up with whoever's ranked or whatever? Or how's that work?
The first one, you'll kind of rank with whoever's in the pro division, and then you get flighted the next 2 days.
You do. Okay. Yeah, so any top dogs in this one right now that you're thinking you're going to be flighted with?
Oh, yeah, there's always some really good shooters there, like Stefan and Chris Perkins and a bunch of guys like Kyle Douglas.
Yeah. Okay. Who's your best friend competition out there? Like, who do you hang out with the most?
I was like shoot with Sawyer Sullivan. He's always a good dude.
Yeah, that's cool. And who's he shoot for?
Matthews.
Okay, that's cool. Are you wearing yellow jerseys at this point, or are you just kind of independent?
Not yet.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to be able to like get away and hunt quite a bit this year?
I sure hope so.
With school, like I know it's kind of like a lot of weekends.
Yeah, I got some good hunts this year, so I get to hunt in Montana for elk this year, and then do Montana deer again. So I'm gonna have to take a little bit of time off.
I think that's a great
like
idea.
2 weeks in the beginning of the school year.
All right, so let's get those grades dialed. Get
Yep.
that homework ahead. The Montana mule deer elk season is happening, and then plus, what do you typically hunt in Washington State, your home state?
Elk and deer and bear.
Okay. And you can get out a little bit when you're in town on the
yeah.
weekends and just kind of do that.
Every day after school.
Do you get out every day after
yeah.
school?
Every day.
So you catch an evening hunt
Every single day.
every single day? That's awesome. That's where we're going to finish. And I'm so glad that you came on the pod without your dad because you're becoming a man right before my very eyes. You reached out a couple months ago and you're like, hey, I want to like start really stepping up my fitness game, which is music to my ears.
Yeah.
And I had to give you like the classic speech. Like I was like, all right, Bodie, that's cool, but I really want to know what you eat.
Yeah.
And I gave you like a terrible homework assignment right out the gates that I didn't think you would do. I was like, okay, I need a food journal for a week. And then you did it, but you sent it to me. I was like, no, this is not detailed enough. Like you got to go. And I gave you an example. Then you went and did it. And I was like, okay, we made a few tweaks.
Yeah.
We did a couple of fitness tests, step ups, add some running, a little bit of like calisthenics. Because I don't want to mess up your bow shooting.
Yeah.
Like at all. Since then, I just saw you for the first time. It's been a while since I've seen you. And like, oh my gosh, dude, you look leaner. You look like you have more muscle.
Yeah.
You look more fit. I watched you hike the mountains yesterday and the day before. And what's going on with you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been good. Main thing was I just changed how I ate, and I like all the stuff that I get to eat now. A lot of rice and steak and meats.
Yeah.
I enjoy that a lot. So
You're eating clean. I set you up with a trap yesterday. I said, hey, Bodie, we're going to go get pizza. This was not true. This was a lie. I was like, hey, we're going to get a piece of pizza. You want to join us? And you're like, no, I'm at my truck. I'm eating my elk steak and rice. And I was like, okay, you pass. Good job. Yeah, I'm just so proud of how you're doing on the fitness stuff. I do want to do more with you.
yeah, for sure.
In person. And so we're trying to coordinate right now, like a way for me to like train you at my gym and like get you a couple of workouts that we can do together. And then you're like, okay, that's what Dan wants me to do. Go take those, tweak those. The overall goal is just to basically make you mentally more disciplined, more determined, which will bleed into your archery.
Yeah.
And to have you feeling good, like really good, looking good, which will add to your confidence, which adds to feeling good or better. And then having that stamina, that endurance to feel as good as day one as you did on day 3 at any tournament.
Yep.
You know, that kind of thing. What's the biggest challenge for you? Do you have any weaknesses when it comes to nutrition or training?
Just time, probably, is the main thing.
Yeah. You are very busy. Is it hard to stay friends with your high school friends for how much you travel?
Not really, no. It's not too bad.
Okay. Have you made some good friends out on the tournament scene?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of have a community. Yeah. That's very cool. Interviews and stuff like that for post archery competitions. Who's doing a good job there? Where should people go to look and follow along stuff?
Competition Archery Media.
Who runs that?
Like the Lancaster crowd.
Oh, cool. That's their production?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell them to please live stream the Vegas shoot this year with no paywall so I can just see it?
I tried.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in giving you $5.99. Like, just stream it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And grow your audience. And we'll be loyal. We'll subscribe to your YouTube and all that. Speaking of YouTube, when are you going to start your channel?
Probably at some point. Once I can get more time that I can put into it.
Yeah. What kind of stuff do you want to do on your YouTube channel?
Just hunting and archery stuff. That's about it. I like to do a lot of exploring in the woods too, so I wouldn't mind doing some.
I think that'd be cool to see a target bro out there, not with a target bow, out in the woods, kind of talking about, hey, I'm looking for blacktails today. I'm putting a camera out here. Hey, I saw this slob blacktail over here. Talking to you yesterday, man, you're 17.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you've had a lot of hunting success.
Yeah.
Like, how old were you when you shot your first big game animal?
6.
Okay.
This is when I first killed my first deer.
With a bow?
Crossbow.
Okay, crossbow. Okay. When did you shoot your first big game animal with a bow?
11.
11. Okay, that makes sense. Well, from 11 to age 17, I mean, you've done so much.
Killed a lot of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to say you've killed a bunch of stuff. I was like, but that's really what
Yeah.
you have. You've killed a ton of stuff, which means you have a lot of in the field experience.
Mm-hmm.
Let's finish with some tinkering. Tell me about your arrow setup last year with the AE hybrid 23s
Mm-hmm.
and the Beast. Like, what was that all about?
Yeah, so I killed an elk, a blacktail, and a whitetail doe with the Parallel Pros Beasts and the hybrid 23s. And the Beasts were doing absolutely amazing on elk and deer. I exited through the far side shoulder of a big blacktail. I shot an elk through the rib. That one did really good. And then I shot it on a follow-up through the back left ham, and I got up into the chest at 65 with a 415 grain arrow.
Huh.
I was pretty impressed with that.
So those Beasts, like you and I have both tested them. That's the sharpest thing I've ever touched.
Sharpest and most accurate that I've shot, yeah.
Most accurate?
Mm-hmm.
125s?
Hundreds.
Hundreds. Offset on your veins?
Like I try to go around 3,
Okay. Hybrid 23s. 3 or 4 fletch?
both.
What was better?
I'm running 3 fletch right now. I ran 4 fletch last year.
Think you can get away with 3?
So far, yeah. With the testing I've done with them, yeah.
Have you done enough testing to commit to, hey, I'm doing 3?
Yeah, I mean, I was stacking them at 120 the other day with the Beast practice heads. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like stacking them one on top of another.
Those Beast practice heads are awesome. Like, they match up pretty good.
Yeah, and when I shot an actual Beast too, and it just stacked right in there too.
It did?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many? So I have a pack of 3, but I've shot a bunch of animals with those ones, and I don't know how to sharpen them.
Yeah.
Have you tried sharpening them?
My dad has sharpened them, yeah.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
not fair. Your dad is a sharpening fool.
Mm-hmm.
Have you learned how to butcher animals from your dad yet?
Yeah.
So are you as good as your dad?
Yeah, I've done a couple mostly by myself, like with people holding legs, but I've done all the cutting.
Your dad's like the best butcher I've ever seen. Annoyingly good
Yeah.
at everything he does, including pickleball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. You and your dad like best friends?
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's how me and my dad are. So all those father-son hunts, like the elk and the mule deer in Montana, is that with your dad?
I mainly hunt by myself, but I've killed some stuff with my dad for sure, yeah.
Okay.
I've killed a lot of stuff by myself, though.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Because you had all those stories yesterday. There was no dad involved.
No.
And especially, like, your dad travels a lot for work, and he hunts a ton, too. And so it's like, the cool thing is where you live, you're getting out in the field every day after school.
Yep.
That's a lot of days in the field.
A lot.
And I like that you can kind of balance out target archery, and yet you're still a hunter. I would hate for you to just be a guy who shot bows.
There's no way I could do that. I would pick hunting over target. I shoot target so I can hunt. That's the main thing.
Target archery make you a better hunter?
I think the shooting side of it can, yeah, for sure. Just getting to learn your equipment and learning how to shoot, I think that helps a ton. And then getting to shoot under really stressful situations, and then getting to transfer that into hunting can help for sure.
When you came up in the scene not too long ago, I imagine you were overlooked until you're
In the beginning, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. The year, first year I shot a 660 in Lancaster. I was talking to one of the Hoyt guys, and he didn't push me off. He's like, yeah, okay. I told him I wanted to shoot in like the 650s. And then when I shot a 660, I turned around and he was standing back behind me. He's like, yeah, okay, yeah, well.
We're not going to say names, but
Yeah.
that's awesome, man. I love that. Now people probably don't love seeing you show up unless they're very competitive.
Yeah.
I hope they are.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's what you want. You want their best.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to your career, I mean, you've gotten a couple of giant checks.
Yeah.
But you're like 17.
Mm-hmm.
Is mom and dad helping you like, hey, don't go blow your money?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, welcome to taxes. How do you like
They
taxes?
suck. Yeah. I don't enjoy them.
Are you putting your money away? Are you blowing it? What
I
are
have
you
a
doing?
lot. I have a lot invested, and then I have my vehicle and stuff too. But
So you got yourself you paid for your own rig?
I've paid for 2 now.
Okay, what rigs do you have?
Well, I had a 2024 runner that was kind of built out with a bumper and lights, and then I sold that one and bought another 4Runner that's a 2017 and it's built out for overland stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's pimp. So you pay cash for your vehicle. Mom and dad didn't help you out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I respect that. And then you got some investments and stuff like that, so your money can work for you.
Yeah.
And then, eventually you'll be able to go to tournaments without mom. You'll actually be able to rent a car, rent a hotel. You're turning 18 this coming February.
Yep.
Okay, that's cool. You'll be graduating high school. I think once you win a few more big tournaments, dog, I'd like to see you maybe get into some real estate.
Yeah, for sure.
That'd be cool. The problem, I mean, I know you want to live in Montana full time, and that's coming up.
Yeah.
But dude, you need an airport.
Yeah.
That's better than probably what, Missoula's or Bozeman's.
Yeah, Great Falls.
No. So you need like a SeaTac or
Yeah.
whatever. How many tournaments do you want to do versus have to do? Like, it's your life, Bodie.
Yeah, I'll probably
What's
be
the
doing
right balance?
Probably be doing like 15, 20 maybe a
15,
year.
20 a year.
I'm doing like maybe 10 right now.
Okay. I like that. Don't do too many.
No.
Don't ever quit hunting.
Yeah.
Obviously, find that balance. And then add somebody like what I have to capture your
Video stuff, yeah.
capture just your life and put it out there on YouTube. I think we'd love to see it.
Yeah.
I think people would love to get to know you. A lot of people don't know you.
Yeah, for sure.
They think, oh, he's just a really quiet kid. That's not true. You were in my ear quite a bit yesterday,
Oh, yeah.
which I love. That's my love language. So for those that don't know, just kind of finish this podcast, like, who is Bodie Turner? Like, what do you think, like, when someone doesn't know you, what should they know about you?
I like to shoot bows and hunt. That's about it.
You are passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are my two main things.
And you have a tight-knit family.
Yeah.
You have a great support system.
For sure.
And you're very humble, which I think
Try to be.
you are, but I think you could be cocky, and it's just not your personality.
Yeah.
Cocky people, there's a difference between being confident and
Being
cocky.
cocky, yeah.
What is that?
Just mainly how you put yourself out there. Like, you can be confident, but you can't walk into a tournament and be like, yeah, I'm going to shoot this score. Like, cannot do that at all. Like, I can walk in saying, I want to shoot this score, but
We'll find out.
yeah.
Yeah, you can't call your shots in archery.
No.
There's too many. For those younger people than you that look up to you, for those older people that look up to you,
Yeah.
best advice if they want to get into target archery, where do they start?
I mean, biggest thing is knowing your shot, which is huge for target archery. And then once you know your shot and then you can build your shot, then you can start to build your equipment around it.
You're using the Onyx C? You won Reading with that?
That
was a prototype.
I won Reading with it with a prototype, yeah.
Yeah. And then have you just, ever since then, that's
I've
what
had
you
it full time.
Okay. What were you using before that?
Probably the B3 BG Pro hinge.
Yeah. So you can go hinge, thumb.
Yeah, anything.
It don't matter. Do you hunt with the
Onyx
Onyx?
C.
Okay. Right on. I was thinking, so your dad just gave me the spiel while you were sleeping, and I'm going to go put some reps behind it or whatever and just see what the vibe's like. For those that want to get into a click, is that the best way to go thumb, or should they try a hinge? How do you know what to try first?
I think the thumb button can be more accurate than a hinge, more consistent.
Yeah.
But thumb button's probably the hardest one to run.
Right.
But once you put a click into it, it makes the system 1,000 times easier to run.
Are you squeezing or pulling?
I don't pull at all. I think pulling on a release,
That adds variance.
yeah, the more variance you can add, more pulling you can add, the less accurate the system can become.
Yeah. Man. So do you just bunch that up into the skin of your thumb, or are you opening your hands more?
Yeah, I mainly just do it all with my thumb, but a good way for people who struggle with a little bit more is to make it a whole hand movement, like on that 3-finger.
That's what I'm going to have to do.
Yeah, you can put your pinky on that little ledge and then thumb to pinky.
Yep. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mess with that, man. Do you think they'll be able to figure out how to adjust how much it moves after the click?
I'm sure they can figure it out somehow, yeah.
Yeah. Do you like the way it is now? No?
I do.
Okay.
I think you can get it light enough to where it doesn't really matter.
So with the Onyx C, it basically clicks, just like a hinge, and then it goes off at a set amount of tension, and you can adjust the tension and the trigger travel. So for you, you're getting your aim. You're on the target. You get your aim done,
And then I hit my
and
click.
then you hit your click,
then
and that's
my
here
shot.
you go for you.
Yep.
And I've heard yours click, and there's a variance as to sometimes it goes off right away. Sometimes it takes quite a while.
Yeah.
But what I did notice from you yesterday is like literally Bodie could call his shot. Like as soon as it would break, you would say, what did you say? But something to let us all know that arrow's about to hit the 11.
Probably that's smoked.
Yeah, it was like, shoot, smoked. And then I'm like, what are you talking? Oh.
Yeah.
Like, because we're taking long shots, you could just tell when it was just going to go right in the middle.
Yep.
I can't do that.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well, Matt, Bodie, from the bottom of my heart, I've watched you grow up. I got nothing but love and respect for you. I am one of your biggest cheerleaders. I hope you know that. Like, I am always rooting for you, man. Yeah. And I'm so proud of you, and I'm excited to see where you go. What is your Instagram handle?
Bodie_Turner. BODIE.
Do you have your own website yet?
Not yet.
Okay. I want a YouTube channel sooner than later, man.
Yep.
You want to get on that?
Yep.
Okay.
I'll start working on it.
Get that thing on lock. At least get a name.
Yeah.
Figured out. Guys, give Bodie a follow. Please root for him and reach out if you have any questions. He'll get back to you. Separations in the preparation. We'll catch you on the next one.